Men are the devils of the earth, and the animals are the tormented souls. Most of the time, people take advantage of you when saying you're better at something than they are. If we were not all so interested in ourselves, life would be so uninteresting that none of us would be able to endure it. The safest way of not being very miserable is not to expect to be very happy. People are like watch mechanisms that start and run without knowing why. 9/10 of our happiness depends on health. Man can do what he wills, but he cannot will what he wills. Compassion is the basis of morality. Such is the lot of great people in the world. They are only recognized when they are not alive. A fool chases pleasure and finds disappointment. A sage only avoids grief. If we happen to hear how half a dozen rams scornfully scold an outstanding person, then we will understand that to value the opinion of people highly will be a lot of honor for them. Fate shuffles the cards, and we play. He who writes carelessly confesses thereby at the very outset that he does not attach much importance to his own thoughts. You should be very careful not to form a very favorable opinion about a person at first acquaintance. Otherwise, in most cases, you will have to be disappointed. Treat a work of art like a prince. Let it speak to you first. Religion is the masterpiece of the arts of animal training, for it trains people as to how they shall think. A vain person should know that the good opinion of others, which he so achieves, is much easier and more true to create by silence than by talkativeness. Hundreds of objects that give people pleasure are boring for a big mind. He who has lost all hope has also lost all fear. Compassion for animals is so closely related to kindness of character that it is safe to say that he who is cruel to animals cannot be a kind person. Politeness is to human nature what warmth is to wax. Sociability of people is not based on love for society, but on the fear of loneliness. Intellect is invisible to the man who has none. Life swings like a pendulum backward and forward between pain and boredom. Living happily means living less unhappy. One should use common words to say uncommon things. So the problem is not so much to see what nobody has yet seen, as to think what nobody has yet thought concerning that which everybody sees. The business of the novelist is not to relate great events, but to make small ones interesting. A high degree of intellect tends to make a man unsocial. He who does not like loneliness does not like freedom. It is better to find your mind in silence than in conversation. Every parting gives a foretaste of death, every reunion a hint of the resurrection. If you have reason to suspect that a person is telling you a lie, look as though you believed every word he said. This will give him courage to go on. He will become vehement in his assertions, and in the end, betray himself. To get married means to have your rights and double your responsibilities. Faith is like love. It does not let itself be forced. We can regard our life as a uselessly disturbing episode in the blissful repose of nothingness. Ordinary people merely think how they shall spend their time. A man of talent tries to use it. Each person can be completely himself only while he is alone. Every man takes the limits of his own field of vision for the limits of the world. We seldom think of what we have, but always that of what we lack. The clever are not so much looking for loneliness as they avoid the fuss created by fools. Or don't tell your friend what your enemy shouldn't know. The first 40 years of life give us the text. The next 30 supply the commentary on it. Reading is thinking with someone else's head instead of one's own. The person who writes for fools is always sure of a large audience. If they gossip about you, it means that you are enough not only for yourself, but also for others. No rose without a thorn, but many a thorn without a rose. We forfeit 3/4 of ourselves in order to be like other people.